Hi everyone, Mike from AI Technology and Design back here with another day of technology in our 30 days of technology experience. You know what? If you've watched any of these videos, you know one thing plainly, clearly, very directly. I love music. So anytime we get to talk about ways to add more music to your home, I think it's a win. So today, we're going to be talking about a company I think is doing an amazing job of helping people do that. Of course, we're talking about Kanto speakers. Adding music to your home is not as easy as it sounds. If you're working with a company like ours, we can help you design built-in speakers in your home and make sure you have the infrastructure required for that. However, if you live in an existing home that hasn't had that care and consideration, or maybe it's like my home, which is 40 years old and that stuff didn't exist in those days, a great way to add music all over your home is using a speaker from a company called Kanto. Now, here's what I really like about Kanto. Well, they're locally based, so that helps a bunch too. They're based out of the Vancouver area, but they really do make listening to music simple by reducing the experience to its most base elements. And what I mean by that is essentially a lot of their solutions are just two speakers and a power cord and Bluetooth or some sort of other source. So there isn't a lot of extra wires required. There isn't a lot of extra components. There's zero guesswork. So to me, that's a win. It makes it easy and it's very elemental. The second thing, and I think this is equally important, is if we're talking about adding a lot of music all over a house, starting at about $350 a room, that's not overly expensive. When we consider what built-in options are, realistically, by the time we factor in materials and labor, we're looking at $1,500 to $1,800 a room in a new house. So if we're limited by budget or limited by infrastructure or anything else, this is a great way to make sure you get all that music all over the place that you love without breaking the bank. And the other thing that I really like is every room and every home is different. We all have our own unique styles. We all have our own unique decor ideas. And Kanto has a variety of speakers in a bunch of really cool colors, which means you can really express yourself. One of the problems I have with speakers is they're typically just black or white. Which, don't get me wrong, those are awesome. But having the ability to express yourself in different colors is really, really important to a lot of people. And it's just another way that you can make your space unique. I'll give you a good example. If you're in a dorm room where everything is the same and very industrial looking, a pair of really nice colored speakers will add a bit of warmth to the place, but also show the place is uniquely yours as well. So Kanto does a really good job for that. And lastly, they make speakers for listening for things like computer listening. So if you're adding some tunes to your desktop or your laptop, as well as for more dedicated listening as well, for more conventional listening. So a complete ecosystem, lots of great options from our friends at Kanto. Okay, so let's take a little bit of time to talk about powered versus non-powered speakers or passive speakers. So Kanto makes a series of speakers called the YU or the U speakers, and they make a passive version or a powered version. And the difference is this. Passive speakers require an outboard amplifier. It can be a Sonos amplifier, it can be a Denon or Marantz receiver, anything like that, because they need power to make them do what they're supposed to do. Powered speakers have amplifiers built in, and there's a few advantages to choosing self-amplified speakers. First, if you've ever been in a professional recording studio, the vast majority of speakers in there are amplified with their own amplifiers. And part of the reason for this is different brands of amplifiers can create delays. So if you have a Macintosh amp in one studio and you have a different brand of amp in a different studio, you're going to have slightly different results. So the way we maintain consistency in a studio is using self-powered monitors. And it's also a way of maintaining simplicity for the people in the studio. So why am I citing this? Because if it's what the best audio engineers in the world rely on, it's a pretty safe bet that's good technology for you to invest in as well. What I really like about it though is because it's all in one, you don't have to buy a lot of extra stuff to make it happen. You just take them home, you plug them in, and away they go. So the U powered speakers have that feature built in, which makes them a great option for a home studio. If you're doing any sort of editing on your computer, anything like that. Like I live on my Mac and I do all my editing on this Mac. So I want a good sounding speaker to hear all the details, because let's face it, if I'm going to take all the time to record a video and edit it, I want it to sound really good to you as well. So they're truly just plug and play. You just have to add a source. And for my money, I would always choose a powered speaker over a non-powered speaker. I think they just create a better result. I think you have a lot more precise control. And like I said, for most people, the simplicity triumphs any of the extra widgets and boxes that you can add to it that will not only add price, but add complexity as well. So I've been in the audio business many, many years, and I've worked for some great speaker products that I would call mid-range. And I've worked for some great brands that are really, really high-end, to the point where if you're looking $50,000 to $60,000 a speaker, that's the world I was playing in. Most people aren't ever going to touch that world. Most people don't even dream of that world. So we have to be realistic. Would we prefer everyone listen to $60,000 speakers? Sure, the world would be a much better place, but most people are never going to afford that and are never going to see the value for that. So let's talk about why I like Kanto speakers so much, because it makes it so easy for so many people to get into music. They have non-powered speakers starting at just over $200 a pair. That means if you have an amplifier, you hook it up, and away you go. The powered version starts just over $300. They start at 340 Canadian dollars, which means it's extremely easy to get into good quality sound with not a lot of fuss and not a lot of hassle. The other thing I really like about Kanto speakers is how easy they are to set up. They're so simple. You simply take them out of the box, plug them in, and that's it. You'll have to pair your phone or your Bluetooth device, but literally that's it. You may want to add a phono, like a turntable to it. You may want to add a CD player to it. You may want to hook it up to something else. But other than that, it's take it out of the box, plug it in, and away you go. Unlike some of the other products out there, it's also not app-based, which means if you want to use it in a space where you may not have Wi-Fi, like the cabin, it's perfect for that. You'll still need a source, so maybe an old iPod, like a classic iPod, or you may have a CD player, anything like that. But keep in mind that you're not bound by Wi-Fi or data or anything else like that. So there's another advantage of those as well.